ask for you all to stand, and Alderwoman Thompson will lead us in our prayer and pledge.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, in our hearts we plan our course. I pray that you establish our steps. We thank you for each and every one of us that are here tonight. Thank you for our first responders, the police department, fire department, emergency department. Bless everyone in our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alderwoman Thompson. Agenda item number 3, are there any additions or deletions? Alderwoman Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to add the recognition of the Spring Lake Middle School boys and girls basketball teams, please.
All right. Any objections to the addition? All right, we will add that as agenda item 8A, and everything else will move down accordingly.
C?
A.
Okay.
So the discussion will be B. The website will be B, and the committees will be C. Okay, approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion. Alderman Palacios.
Make a motion we approve the agenda with the addition of 8A.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is now approved. We'll move on to the approval of consent items A, draft minutes for the January 2024 or January 24th, 2022 regular meeting. Alderman Palacios, is your light still on? Is that?
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion we approved draft minutes for January 24, 2022 regular meeting.
Is there a second? Alderwoman Cooper.
I second that motion.
Any questions? Alderman Lackman.
Yes, I'd like the record to reflect on B, and then on, let me find it here, on 7B, and then also 7G. I don't think it accurately reflects what I had said last time to go through here.
7B. You said B and G?
And G, yes.
Okay.
And you said it doesn't accurately reflect what you said?
Correct.
Okay. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, please?
On 7B, and then also on 7G, I don't think it accurately reflects what I said in the last meeting.
Do we need to, do we need to consult with the attorney as how to change that, or do you want to get with Melissa later and transcribe that? What's the process? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Melissa.
Can you tell me exactly what do you,
It
be
just,
specific on what do you mean by, on which line?
I'll just get with you afterwards if that's all right.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
So can we just say we'll accept it with the necessary changes?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Okay, well, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes with
The
the
amended changes.
changes.
All right. So moved.
I second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, well, we are moving to approve the consent items with the appropriate changes. Agenda item 6, we are on to public comments, and first will be Mr. Frank Alexander. Please approach the podium, state your name and your address, please.
Frank Alexander, 714 Regina. I was here last month to talk about the committee to move the town forward. I'd still like to urge that committee to be created. And I'll be honest with you, I was under a misconception of how much area and or land was under the jurisdiction of Spring Lake. I have a better picture of that now, and I figure what I wanted was probably a little bit too grand. But all I'm asking is that we have to look at the raw number of just 2% of the land is dedicated for industry in Spring Lake. The county needs to know whether from the aldermen here, from the council, whether this is going to be a bedroom community or we're going to create a broader tax base. Now, I've been in touch with some of the people in the county, and there are several committees set up to look at this. Matter of fact, in April, they're going to have a rough draft of what they propose. And I would desperately urge the council to have some kind of plan set up for revitalize this community before that rough draft comes out. So this way, we can go to you can go to the council. I'm sorry, to the county, and say, yes, we have a plan to move forward. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alexander. Okay. Next, we will have Mr. James Christian. He is on the phone.
Mr. Christian?
Yeah, I can go?
Yep.
All right, it's good to hear everybody's voices. I wish I was there in person, but otherwise I'm not able to attend right now. But this is James Christian, 709 Medina Drive here in Spring Lake. I just want to touch on a couple of things real quickly. The prayer, opening invocation, we should keep that. If we have to let other people have their say, have the opportunity to pray, that's fine with me. But we shouldn't eliminate the prayer or the invocation from the town charter. 4-year terms. Just imagine thinking back on this last Board of Aldermen that some of them had 4-year terms. We'd still have to be dealing with it. People should have a say every 2 years. It's important that we have our say, and it's important to correct any, to put the right people in office that are going to do good for the town. As far as the mayor voting, I'm not against that, but I would like to see you serve a term as mayor first before you ask for the chance to vote. Let us see what you can do. And then I'm going to turn over the remaining time that I have over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Christian. Our third and final speaker will be, or excuse me, public comment will be Mr. Freddie Dela Cruz.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen.
Good evening.
I'm Freddie Dela Cruz. I live at 240 Summertime Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I know most of you here, and I'm coming here to advocate for allowing the mayor to vote in Spring Lake. That's my purpose here today. I think that's a very important topic for our town. Just a little bit about me. Grew up in Fayetteville, Spring Lake. I got here in 1975, went to Spring Lake Junior High. I'm a retired lieutenant colonel, and my grandmother, my father, my brother, my sisters, my uncle, my aunts, they're all buried here in Spring Lake. Eventually, when I pass, I'll be here buried in Spring Lake. So I have a lot of ties to this town. and I grew up in this town. And I want to see this town do well. I own property in this town. I do all my businesses in town. I do my insurance with Bobby Darn's Insurance. I get my car fixed with Earl on 2nd Street. I get my haircut in B&B barbershop. I eat at the L2 Con. I cater, I buy my gas for my businesses in Spring Lake. So I do a lot of business in Spring Lake. I own property in Spring Lake. I pay taxes in Spring Lake. And I want to see this town move forward. And from what I'm hearing, this group here that I'm facing right now, that I see are working as a group, a good team. Not what I saw from when I first got back after I retired. And the reason why I think it's very important for the mayor to vote, I'm not advocating for a person, I'm advocating for the position, because it's important that the mayor of Spring Lake has a vote on everything that goes down in this city. Look at the financial problems that we had. The mayor, Mayor Dobbins, poor Mayor Dobbins, you know, he had to face after his retirement speaking when they had the debate, or the delegates debate, you know, at the Special Operations Center. He had to humble himself because he had no voice, yet he had to take all the blame because he was the mayor and he didn't have a choice. Now, when I retired from the Army, I put an application in to be the town manager because my experience with budgeting and finance, you know, I'm a business major. I thought I could help this city, this town. And they had 10 candidates. They picked the top 3, and I was fortunate to make one of the top 3. We went through a whole interview process. Mr. Harrell was fired for cause. Okay, and then they elected Aziz, and Aziz made a decision to rehire him because he was that ultimate vote. And they brought him back on to find out that he made a wrong decision. And he could have changed the whole city by just allowing not me or one of the other 2 candidates to be the city manager to move the city forward with their finances. And now look where we're at. And I pray to God that you guys will make a big difference and bring this town back to where it needs to be at, where we can be on the face and be a beacon. We're so close to Fort Bragg. And yet, you know, we're getting ran over. DOT came through here and just ran a road right through. Nobody did anything about it. Now they divided the city, or the town. I keep saying city, but it's a town. Main Street is a ghost town. Okay, it's ridiculous. And I grew up on these streets and I see it, and it's sad to see that we got Fort Bragg so close, yet we look like a desert. You know, like nothing going on in the city. And it's sad. So I just want to just say that I'm advocating for the mayor to vote. And you guys, if you guys can do it by a vote, I would highly recommend that you start down. But if not, I would go ahead and recommend what Ms. Cooper said. Petition the citizens and give them a voice and see what they think about it. Because I guarantee you, if you go talk to 10 citizens that vote and you ask them, do you know that your mayor doesn't have a vote when it comes to decisions? I guarantee you 80%, if not more, not all of them will say they didn't know that the mayor does not have a right to vote. And I would ask everybody in this room, do you know that your mayor does not have a right to vote on issues? How many know that? You didn't know that, huh? Well, your mayor in Fayette in Spring Lake is not entitled to a vote when a decision is being made. And I'm saying to you all, do what's right. If you were the mayor, would you want, the question you got to ask yourself is this: if you were the mayor, would you want a vote in the decision-making process?
Okay, I have to stop you.
Okay.
We are at 3 minutes and your time has reached its limit. But thank you so much for your comment.
Okay, thank you, and God bless Spring Lake.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to agenda item 7, presentation from the National League of Cities Service Line Warranty Program. Mr. Jim Golden.
Hello, I'm on sorry, I got some feedback there. I'm on a video. I wasn't able to get on the video, so I'm joining you by telephone. Thank you so much for taking the time to let me introduce this program to you. Very quickly, the program was designed by the National League of Cities to provide utilities with a way to communicate to their customers and residents whose responsibility it is when it comes to their water and sewer lines. So the National League of Cities approached HomeServe because we are the largest provider of education and warranty programs in the utility market space. So we do water, sewer, electric, gas, and electricity, and we work behind the scenes, kind of behind the utilities to provide this education and warranty program. So for this program, we're talking about 3 products that homeowners could have access to. One is a service line protection or sewer line protection program, and that's the sewer on their property from the home all the way out to the main. Then there's a program that covers their internal plumbing and draining, and then finally their freshwater line. Typically about 67% of homeowners are not aware that they're responsible for the water and sewer lines on their property. They just assume that it's the city or the utility's responsibility. What this program does, it helps those homeowners understand that there's kind of a gap in their coverage, and it's not the city or the utility's responsibility for that private side. So it lets that homeowner know that they have options out there, and more importantly, they're getting this information prior to them having a very expensive service call. What we do in this program is we advertise the program in an educational way, letting homeowners know what their responsibilities are. We work with the city to define that. The National League of Cities program currently has over 1,400 partners in the United States alone. 2.3 million homeowners are protecting themselves as it states today. Regular homeowners insurance does not cover this. They look at the internal plumbing of the home just as they would as an outbuilding or your driveway or some other building. So it's important that homeowners get to understand what that responsibility is. So if a homeowner decides that they are interested in getting some protection on the program, there's an 800 number that's dedicated to you folks. We provide web pages on your website so that homeowners can gain additional information on it. If they would like to participate in the program, they contact us. Okay, so we're not out soliciting them, calling them, trying to get them to sign up with us. It's just these 3 educational mailings that go out per year, and then if a homeowner is interested, they call us. We provide $8,500 worth of coverage. Includes everything that homeowner may need to resolve, whether that be a water line or a sewer line. They pay roughly about $5.50 a month to get this coverage. That is that's about $65 a year. That's less than the average contractor shows up for a non-emergency call, and that's $75 an hour. If it's an emergency, it's $150 an hour. So for this program, for less than a 1-hour show-up call, they can have their water and sewer lines protected from any kind of a water line break or emergency. Now, we use local contractors for this. The reason that we're working through the National League of Cities is that we want to help support the cities and the utilities' local economic strength and development. So we use local contractors. We're not looking for the Roto-Rooters of the world. We're looking for the mom and pop plumbers that are in your area. We have fantastic programs for them in terms of purchasing power programs, but we also pay these folks within 10 days. They know the codes, they know the rules, and they're very excited to get work orders from us versus leads to go out and talk to somebody. When a homeowner has an emergency, they simply call the 800 number that has been dedicated to you folks. The phone is answered the way that you'd like us to answer it. If the homeowner decides that this is an emergency, one of those contractors will be on site within an hour. If it's a non-emergency, the homeowner then schedules it at their convenience. So basically, it's pretty a simple program, folks, and it was built that way on purpose by the National League of Cities. It's a very simple program that a homeowner can participate in and get qualified contractors to show up. Now, we do something very differently than if a normal contractor showed up. Let's say your front yard You came home and the front yard is flooded. Normal contractor is going to come out, charge you that $150 to $175 an hour. As long as they're there, they're going to dig a hole in your yard. They're going to patch that leak. They're going to fill it back in again, and you're going to be a couple $1,000s in the hole. The average water line replacement is $2,500. The average sewer line replacement is $6,500. What we do is, because we're only charging, about $65 a year, we can't afford to run multiple trucks. So when a homeowner calls for a repair, we come out and we replace what that issue may be. So if it's their outside water line, instead of patching that, we're replacing that entire water line, bringing it up to code, and giving that homeowner an additional 1-year warranty on it. Now, if that homeowner has only been in the program for 2 months, they've paid $11 and they've just had their entire water line replaced. That's the value of this program. It's taking the homeowner out from under those unexpected emergency costs, and it's giving you folks that goodwill of being able to provide your customers, your residents, your homeowners with options like that. The program offers a revenue. About half of our municipalities will take a royalty. The other half will not. If you decide you would like a 50-cent royalty per product per month, it comes out to be $5.75 a month for homeowner protection. That's $64 a year. If you choose not to take a revenue, we take that 50 cents off the homeowner pricing, and it comes down to $5.25 a month, or $58 a year. So you can see that either way, $58 a year with 100% coverage in as many calls as that homeowner needs to come out. So that's really it in a nutshell. We do have a fair amount of partners in North Carolina. We recently, I say recently, about a year ago, won a national RFP with the city of Charlotte. So they are now offering the program out as well. Currently, we have over 140,000 North Carolina residents enrolled in a program, but these programs are only available through you folks, through Spring Lake. So if you decide, no, this isn't a program that we're interested in, you will not see us mailing in your backyards. We remove ourselves, and the homeowner is on their own from there. And we'll touch base with you from time to time. But that's really it in a nutshell. I did provide out earlier 2 agreements for your review. One is that royalty, and one is the non-royalty in that. And that's really just a decision you folks at council need to determine whether you'd like that or not. And then the second document that I provided was just our basically a marketing agreement, because we're marketing to your homeowners, and you have final approval on those 3 mailings before they go out. So we're basically committing to you, that you have control over these marketing pieces, and if you choose the revenue piece, that that's a contractual piece to it. So really, what I'd be interested in is any questions that you may have, and then ultimately, hopefully, answer those and maybe move for approval to offer the program within your community. So that wraps it up for me, unless there's any questions.
Thank you so much. I did want to ask about Exhibit A. There's products, and I see there's different charges for the water service line plan, the septic line plan, and then the interior plumbing and drainage. So that would roughly total about $25 per month per person. How does that work? Is that something that could be offered as a package, or how does it work with those additional products?
Right. Well, depending on that revenue or non-revenue pricing mode that you go with, will affect that end pricing result. But the homeowner has the choice to decide, whether they need just the freshwater protection, just the sewer protection, just the internal plumbing and draining. If they'd like them all, they get a 10% discount on them, on each additional one. But what we've done is we've crafted this to kind of be an a la carte that allows that homeowner to make a decision on what they think is best for their needs. versus, them having to pay for things that they'll never need before. I think the one caveat that I should point out to this is that we have a really, really good understanding on the freshwater line, and it makes sense. A homeowner immediately thinks, oh, I want to make sure my freshwater line is taken care of. But what we see from service calls is that we almost have 3 times the rate of service calls for sewer lines. And that's the expensive one. That's $6,500. So I'm not sure if I answered your question totally. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm originally from Flint, Michigan, so I definitely see the value in this program. My family right now is facing, $30,000 to replace the sewer lines from the street to their home. So this hits very personal, and I just want, for the sake of transparency, the town to know that this is at completely no cost to the town. It's just an additional service that we could offer the community. I think it's a really, it could be really beneficial, especially knowing that our infrastructure here is pretty strained. And like I said, I've seen very close friends and family members be hit with charges like this, and they can get pretty astronomical. I think one of the biggest bonuses is the revenue that could come back to the town. That could be something that goes back into, water, sewer, or infrastructure to start building up, some reserves. Even though it's a really small amount, it could add up over time. So, and with it just being a 50-cent charge, I think that's a really, really good opportunity for us to make some additional revenue.
And if I can add to that, what we've been finding, those partners that do take the revenue, they're setting up separate budget buckets, kind of referred to as hardship funding, assistance programs, because like in this program, this is a program that a homeowner is opting into. It's not like it's tax delivered dollars. So you have a much kind of cleaner hand, more free to do with what you want. And we've seen towns use this kind of emergency funding for, the 90-year-old ladies whose front porch fell down and she can't take care of it. Or, park benches or ambulances. The other thing that we will do for you, whether or not you decide to move forward with the program, we are very, very, very strong and committed to hardship cases. If you ever have anybody in your community that has a water or sewer problem and they are a hardship, just let us know. We'll send a contractor in to take care of it pro bono. It's just the right thing to do. It doesn't cost us that much in the long run, where it could cost that homeowner, everything. So we have resources. We have right now $4.5 million set aside each year just to handle hardship cases.
Alderman Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say, I've seen this presentation at National League of Cities conferences a couple of times, and I think it's a big benefit for our community. I know somebody who had to expend over $7,000 for just this repair, and they had no insurance, so imagine had they had that. So thank you so much for providing this.
Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
One more. Alderman Palacios.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. So I did want to ask a couple things I'd seen. In the marketing agreement, it looks like this is a non-exclusive agreement. Is that right?
It is non-exclusive. There aren't many competitors that we really worry about. So it's non-exclusive. What you don't want to do is confuse the homeowner, because then you don't get anybody participating. But we're confident enough with our program where, if you did want to bring in another provider, that's fine.
Okay. And it looks like an option to share property owner data. I just want to be clear that that's an option. It's not a requirement of the town.
Yes, good point. Thank you. We do understand that, owner information and personal information is, the highest priority. So we don't want to put you guys in any kind of an awkward position. We have multiple ways of collecting and maintaining and making sure that the data is as fresh as we can get. market to your folks on it. And we have other ways to do it too, where we can send a list to you and say, are this the right folks? But at the end of the day, that hasn't been a roadblock because we really don't need to put you guys in that position.
Any other discussion? Thank you so much, Mr. Golden. We appreciate you.
Thank you all, and I look forward to your decision. If there's any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You do the same. All right, we move on to agenda item 8, new business 8A, the recognition of our Spring Lake boys and girls basketball team. You guys could come to the front for me. We will start with the girls team, and if that's okay with you guys, we'll bring up the girls first, ladies first. It's Valentine's Day.
I'm Assistant Principal Travis and Athletic Director. On behalf of Mayor and Board of Aldermen, if I may, and administration, on behalf of our principal, Ms. Shannon Booth, we want to thank you for allowing us and our teams to be here and to be recognized as well. Our head basketball coach, Coach Love, is not here, but Coach Smalls is here. And we also have Miss Charlotte Ditmore, also another one of our assistant principals. You'll see her when you're on campus, and then our boys are here represented as well. So thank you for having us, ma'am.
Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege, and we are super excited when this came across our notifications. When we found out that not only did the boys and the girls rock out, we were so stoked. So we were really, really, really excited to put this together for you guys. So I'll read this on behalf of the board.
Let me add something. Our girls are repeat champions.
Oh.
All right.
Awesome. So on behalf of the town of Spring Lake, I'd like to present the Certificate of Achievement to Coach Small, Coach Love, Coach Harris, and the Spring Lake Middle School girls basketball team in honor of your outstanding achievement in basketball by winning the Basketball Conference Championship awarded this 14th day of February 2022. Thank you. Congratulations, girl. Can we get a picture? I'm going to put more behind you now. And any of the people from Spring Lake Middle want to have them come up as well?
Yes.
We'll let our athletic director represent.
I'm going to find a way to get in here and celebrate with you. Thank you all so much. Let's give them another round of applause. Now, if I can have our boys team come up. Y'all look like y'all just got finished playing. I'm tired.
They went down to the court while they were waiting.
See?
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Come on up.
We have all of our boys coaches present, head coach, Mr. James Neil right here, assistant coaches, Mr. Derek Hudson, and Mr. Tyrus Ray.
And so then I will read the certificate of achievement to you all. From the town of Spring Lake, a certificate of achievement is awarded to Coach Ray, Coach Hutchinson, and Coach McNeil, and the Spring Lake Middle School boys basketball team in honor of your outstanding achievement in basketball by winning the Basketball Conference Championship, awarded this 14th day of February, 2022. Signed, Mayor Andy. Congratulations, guys. Can we have the board come back? You guys get together. I'm a little. Let's give them another round of
All right, we'll leave now. Yes.
So I'm going to take a moment of privilege. There are 4 former Broncos up here on this board. Alderwoman Thompson, Alderman Palacios, Mayor Pro Tem Robin Chadwick, and myself. I was actually part of the first Bronco marching band.
congratulations again. Go Broncos! Go Broncos!
And we at Spring Lake Middle School always say, once a Bronco,
Always a Bronco!
All right, Ms. Ditmore.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Apparently, when we get there, we don't leave, we come back, right?
Awesome. That feels so good to be able to honor those kids. They worked hard for that, and they are consistently winning. So good job to our Spring Lake Middle School Broncos. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 8B. 8B, discussion of the town website, Alderman Raul Palacios and Alderwoman Tanya Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay, so in the last 3 years, the town had embarked on renovating its town website. And this came at a cost of over $57,000 that the town paid. And I've fielded a lot of complaints from the board, from citizens, from business owners, and from town officials. And it's out of those complaints that I started to look more into the contract that was signed for the town website. I also fielded proposals from 4 web developers that specialize in municipal website development. And from those proposals, the highest credible proposal that I had been presented was a $30,000 proposal from a very reputable web developer. $30,000 compared to the $57,000 that this town spent on what I consider, and no reflection of this board, a mediocre website. That was money that I feel was wasted in an opportunity where we certainly could have fielded the company that we had already been doing business with. And so one of the companies that I sent the board the proposals that I had fielded for you guys to review, and you guys can see the numbers for yourself. I don't feel like the prior board had been given the right information to make an informed decision, and I feel like this was a decision that was kind of rushed through without their knowledge. And that's purely speculation, but one of the web developers that I spoke to was the web developer we had previously had when our website was spring-lake.org. Their proposal to renovate that site would have cost the town between $3,000 to $6,000, $51,000 short of what we paid. So ongoing, I had also asked for the, along with Alderwoman Cooper, who had been on some of those calls with me, had asked for Biz Tools, who had been developing our website since 2006, had hosted our website since 2006, if they had been approached about renovating our site. They said no, they weren't in communication about that, and they said that they could start up our old site for $150 and that they would bill us quarterly $145. So my proposal is for this board to have a consensus to revert back to our previous website with Biz Tools at a savings to the town of about $3,600 a year for a site that is reputable, and then in the future, when the town has money, we can renovate that site. I'm open to questions. I sent you the information previously, but any information or any questions you have, I feel like we need to talk about it and come up with a consensus today.
Alderwoman Cooper?
Thank you, Mayor Anthony. I did work with Alderman Palacios with this, and a little background on the old website. I myself, and I believe Alderwoman Sutherland asked, what did this go out for proposal originally? We were told it did. I asked several reputable website developers in the area. None of them had seen it, and I couldn't get proof of an actual RFP for it. So, as Alderman Palacio said, the website has a lot of issues. We constantly get complaints about people not being able to pay their water bill, complaints about people not being able to sign up for the rec department events or programs. So I believe that the best thing to do is to revert back to our old website, have a conversation with Biz Tools about making sure that it is ADA compliant, because that is a requirement for all government websites. And it was something that I said from the very beginning, that we had to be ADA compliant. It is the law. So I do believe we should convert back to Biz Tools for that. What was that, $150?
To start back up, yeah, $150 and $145 a quarter.
Yes. A quarter?
A quarter.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I have a question. I have looked at the website, and it does have a lot of flaws and challenges. But one of my concerns is that we paid $57,000 to a company that did a poor job. So how are we going to recoup some of the money that we've given them, and what do we plan to do about that money that was paid to them? Are we going to try to recoup any of that money back?
No. In my opinion, we should cut our losses and run. I don't think that there's, we're talking about, in my opinion, I think we'd have to go through legal recourse to kind of prove that, but there's a lot of speculation as to what happened and why it was developed the way it is. I understand it is $57,000. It's a lot of money for this town right now. And, there is going to be savings by reverting back, but I don't have an answer to your concern about what happened to, what are we going to do about the money? Just leave it on the table? Honestly, I can't answer that other than cut and run. We need a compliant website for Americans with disabilities. Sorry.
I'd like to add to that as well, the fact that if we don't get a hold of this, we will be paying more on the back end to repair the website. The deficiencies in the website are severe. There's a lot of grammatical errors. It's very hard to read with the color schemes being so similar. There are tons of missing links, broken links, empty pages. It is very, from a technical background, I could go on and on. But as far as us being able to get any money back, I don't foresee us being able to do that either. But it's either we cut our losses now or we continue to sink money into a website that, it's going to take quite a bit to bring it up to standard. So it's pay on the front end or pay on the back end.
I understand that, and I'm not saying that we should continue to do business with people that give us poor service. What I'm saying is they charge us a lot of money, and I really would like to see some recourse, because we can't just continue to give people money and then they do a poor job. So I think we should ask for at least half of our money back. They did a poor service, and our citizens and community, they can't even use the website, because I've tried to use the website. And I don't think we should just be giving out money, especially when our town needs money.
Alderwoman Thompson?
Well, if trying to get some of the money back, you probably have to go into more legal, in which will be more money. So I feel as though if it's a reputable, site, we might as well cut our losses with the last one and just, like she said, move forward.
Ms. Bamba, can you weigh in on this?
Before she speaks, I did have her review our contract, and just to ensure that we could cut and run, and I'm sure she'll just mention that to answer your concern, but she did confirm that I did confirm that there was no renewal agreement that was signed, and we were just billed for the last 3 quarters, the beginning of February that we just paid. So, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Ms. Bamba, did you have anything to weigh in?
Hi. So as Alderman Palacios mentioned, I did review the contract on the basis of whether I could terminate the contract. I did not do a full legal review as to whether the town can receive monies, given the performance of the website. So if the board would like an answer to that, we would have to do a different type of analysis based on the contract and other facts that we're not privy to at the moment. But Alderman Palacios is correct in stating that if the board does want to try to recoup any monies, the likely avenue to do that would be legal action.
Is there any other discussion?
All right. So if are we okay with pursuing with cutting with VQV and pursuing with Biz Tools? How does the board feel?
I'm absolutely okay with that.
All right. All right. We'll direct the staff to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Palacios. Thank you, Alderwoman Cooper. We will move on to agenda item 8C, discussion of town committees. Alderman Lechman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, everyone. Hey, as we're looking forward to these committees and getting them reestablished, we've had a number of town people that have asked to be on the committees. And so what we're looking at doing is setting a firm date so that we can go ahead and set these committees, go ahead and vote on those that are wanting to be part of these committees. And then also, as the town, to begin the training aspect, an overview so that we can get with the committee chairs and kind of set forth where we're looking to go with these committees. But at this point, what we're looking at doing is setting a firm date for doing the setting of the committees. And I would propose the 28th of February, which is our next meeting, for everyone to have their applications put in that want to be part of these committees. And at that point, then we would look to set all of the committees that we have. And then just to touch base with those, that's the Appearance and Sustainability Committee, the Board of Adjustments, the Recreation Advisory Committee, the Military and Veterans Advisory Committee, the Minimum Housing Appeals Board, and the Senior Enrichment Advisory Committee.
Awesome. Alderwoman Cooper?
Thank you, Mayor. My question is, if we have people applying, we would still need to have a date to when we would have staff liaisons trained, and were we still going to move forward with some type of training and orientation for committee members as well? Because then we would also have to have dates for that. And I don't know if we can get all of that done by February 28th.
Alderman Palacios? I'm sorry. Did you have a response to that, Alderman Lackland?
I'll respond first. All right, so I agree February 28th is a great date to have an official date for everybody to get their applications in that are interested in serving. And on that day, I propose that we have an orientation date on February 28th that we can announce at the approval of those applications.
Okay.
Also, if we could get ex officio members assigned for that meeting as well. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the mayor can appoint all those.
Yes.
Okay. And then the last thing is the Board of Adjustments. We have a case that needs to be heard. And so anybody that's interested in serving on the Board of Adjustments, please get that application in unless others have already applied. Thank you.
And the good thing is, according to our charts, is the only committee that needs a staff liaison is the Minimum Housing Appeals Board. So that'll definitely cut the time frame down some. Alderman Thompson, did you have your light on?
He addressed what I was saying.
Okay. So we're going to look at February 28th for an application deadline, and on the 28th, us having staff liaison prepared for, I guess the only one would be the Minimum Housing Appeals Board, and prepare a date for orientation for all committees. Do you have a date in mind? I just pulled my calendar out too. I can't. No, she was saying based on scheduling, we may have to have multiple orientations, just to make sure.
The number of boards.
But I think the February 28th date will give us an idea on which committees we can prioritize first, because they're already, the positions are filled. So I agree with the February 28th application deadline. Marvin, did you have an idea for orientation date?
We can look at the 14th of March, which would be our follow-on meeting.
Any other ideas? Objections? So you guys want to go ahead, let's push for the 14th of March.
I do have a concern that the 14th won't work because we have a regular meeting or a work session meeting that day as well. So for orientation, what I'm thinking is that the orientation would be a separate meeting for those committee members only.
And
not
for those
the
committee
town.
members and their liaison.
Liaisons and board members that are appointed to those committees.
Correct.
So it might work that way. I don't know what you guys want to do.
I think doing it on a separate day would, free up time. Orientations maybe take 30 to 45 minutes. We want to tack that on to the agenda or setting a different date. Again, basing it on the schedule, we can take the time to check with the staff liaisons as well to check their schedule and see if we maybe need to do one midweek. Any other discussion? So do you want to postpone the orientation date until afterwards? We can figure that out during the week and maybe communicate.
I would say let's come back to that on the 28th.
February 20th?
Yeah.
Okay, so February 28th, we'll readdress the orientation dates for each committee. Is there any other discussion?
I did. I think we do need to set a date that people need to have completed the orientation by, so that we know we have full committees.
So you're saying once we set the
Yeah,
orientation?
so like if we say we're gonna have orientation on the 14th, 15th, and 16th, then we need to say that, you know, we need to have your orientation completed by this date in order to serve on the committee.
We have to get the orientation date first.
I know, I'm just saying, we need to have a certain amount of time so that it's not lingering out there a long time.
Awesome. Any other discussion? Awesome. Well, we will move on to our favorite agenda item, agenda item 9. I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Alderman Palacios,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
is there a second? Alderman Lackland,
I second that motion.
is there any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is now adjourned. Sir, I seen your